So we're just gonna go over some questions. I have some questions for them just about lacrosse, what it's like to play here, about their faith, about FCA, and then if you guys maybe have some questions at the end, ask away. So what's it like playing Division I lacrosse here?
It's intense. It's a full-time job. We have lift and practice every day, all day. But really, it's just a balance. It's a lot of fun. I'm with my friends 24/7. Your team is your family, so it's a lot of hard work, but it's worth it. And being able to do it with my best friend, my roommate, is a lot of fun.
You said it's hard to balance. How do you balance, like school, lacrosse, friends, like church?
Yeah, it's just you have to make time for certain things. So you have to know, like, okay, I'm going to do my homework this time. I'm going to practice at this time. I have to go to class, and you just have to make sure that you're not sometimes slacking, like, oh, I don't really feel like doing it, so I'm not going to go. You just got to make sure you have a plan and you get that done, and you go to these things when you need to go to them. It's not overwhelming when you make sure that you have a plan and that you're having your time spread out. It does, and like, not gonna lie, it does get overwhelming if you just try to think about all these things at one time instead of trying to like separate everything out. And when you go to lacrosse practice, you're just thinking about lacrosse practice. When you're in class, you're just thinking about thinking about class. Just like trying not to mix things and making sure that you have all your time separated. So I think that's something that really helps.
And when you get to college, like, your parents aren't there to drive you to church every Sunday, so it's really your choice when you get to college. So that's why having an FCA, like getting involved with other athletes and share your faith, is really important, especially in the hard times. Those are the people that you go to for support. So it's really your choice to continue your faith in college, and I think that's what makes your faith grow even stronger.
And you guys said you help run the FCA huddle here. Tell us a little bit about that. What's it like running that? Why is it great to be a part of that FCA huddle?
Yeah, we started it this past fall. It's just been really great. I've met a lot of athletes who I didn't know shared the same faith with me until we met, which was pretty cool. Athletes who aren't in the same season. So in the fall, I got to hear all about the soccer team. I got to follow them throughout their season and pray for them, and then they're doing the same for me during our season right now.
Yeah, it's just really nice to have that support system of people who are kind of going through the same things that you're going through, and so they're going through the same things in lacrosse or in other sports, and they're also like have that same faith, and that's really, really cool to be able to see that in a little bit different areas, but also they're going through the same runnings and struggles through, like, if you're getting playing time and all that stuff.
So personally for you guys, what's the hardest part of you guys living out your faith, and how do you overcome that?
For me, I think it's just being bold, being courageous, and that comes through prayer. Pray for confidence, pray for the confidence in Christ. I mean, God is for you, He's against you. So I think I have to remind myself of that every day.
I think sometimes just getting caught up in everything else that's going around you, and just making sure that, as I was saying before, you make time for God, make time for the things that you need to do that aren't school or aren't lacrosse or aren't, hanging out with your friends. Like, you have to make time for it and not getting caught up in everything else that's craziness around you.
So you're talking about being bold, in your faith, and I think all you guys would probably agree it's hard sometimes, especially in school and on our teams, to share about our faith with people who, might not be believers or might not know about God. How do you two be a light unto your team? Is that difficult, and how do you work out sharing your faith with your team?
Honestly, a lot of prayer. This past week, we had a big loss this past week, so this week has been all about prayer for me and trusting in the Lord, and I've just been praying, like, whatever I need to be for my team this week, the leader, the servant, like, please help me to be that. Please give me the strength. I've just seen God work through me this week, like, answering countless prayers, and that's really what it is. I mean, unless someone asks me, I don't really go and approach and tell them about the Bible, what I read today, but just being that light, being that positivity, and someone's looking at you and be like, what's different about her? I mean, that's the Holy Spirit going through you. So, prayer. That's what got me through this week.
I don't know if any of you guys were at camp, lacrosse camp, FCA Lacrosse camp, but if you remember, they talked about having an accountability partner, or is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Something like that. Just like I have Kelly, like, find someone that you're friends with, that maybe you can make a new friend. Having that partner that can walk that with you is, like, super, super important. And I know people talk about it, but really go and try to find that. I think that really, really helps.
That was perfect. I was actually gonna ask you a question about accountability partners, so that's perfect. And I think Kelly and Gabby are a great example of just how friendship works. And as believers, they come together, you know, for the last long time, right? And just encourage one another in their faith and challenge one another. And I think that's awesome. So, last
Years, Kelly.
yeah, look at that. So, last question: what advice would you give or encouragement would you give to these girls? As you know, I just think there's so many things that like pull at us all the time, and I know you guys have said a lot about balancing and stuff, but you know, a lot's pulling at us for our attention and our time, in a lot of different areas. But what advice would you give them for just how to pursue God every day to keep striving after Him?
I would say just make time for the Lord, whether that be like through worship, through listening to a few like Christian songs on the way to school, or being in the Word in the morning, and just finding those friends, your accountability partners. I think that's really is what's going to get you through those hard times. That you will hit, you're going to face it in life.
Well, do you guys have any questions for Gabby and Kelly in regards to anything about FCA or lacrosse or?
12 years, right?
We
Well, we
started,
knew each other when we were 9, so
yeah, we started playing together in like 5th grade, 6th grade.
like 9, 10, 11.
A long time. A long time. I don't know.
Like 12 years. I'm going to 12.
Okay.
I guess with like the whole like thing when you guys started FCA like in your school, like I think that'd be a really cool thing to like start off with a college. Like I guess just kind of like how did you go about getting it started?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of colleges do have FCAs. Ours, we used to have something called Athletes in Action, which kind of fizzled out, and we didn't really like that there was no like athletic and like I guess combination of athletes and worship on campus. So we started that. Kelly reached out to a lady who's like an area rep for FCA, and she kind of helped us get it going. So there's area reps all over the place. I mean, these guys can get you in contact with someone if you need one. Everyone's so willing to help. Everyone like they love it when you come and say, "Hey, I want to start an FCA." That's their dream come true. So, you know, don't be afraid to ask.